Well, hello, welcome to Passive Wealth for High Tech Minds podcast. There are lots and lots of IT professionals who work in the industry. These IT jobs are so exhausting mentally, there isn't much time left for such folks to make clever decisions about their investments. Most are unable to put their money in the right asset classes. This is Prashant Kumar from My Realty Gains. I have worked in corporate America in IT and in business organizations for 25 years. My goal is to educate IT professionals like you about the benefits of passive investing. I will be passing my knowledge and will bring guests who have done very well in their careers and can explain the process and advantages of passive investing. So, let's begin. Hello. This is Prashant Kumar from My Realty Gains. This is yet another podcast of Passive Wealth for High Tech Minds podcast. Today, I have a distinguished guest, a good friend of mine, Vish Muni, who has similar background as mine, coming from the technology and now full time in real estate. Vish, thank you so much for accepting our offer. Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you, Prashant, for having me on Passive Wealth for High Tech Minds.
Very good. So Vish has 20 years of experience as small business entrepreneur. He has been IT professional, active real estate agent, and a full-time multifamily investor with over $30 million in asset under management. He started investing in real estate in 2009 in single-family homes, duplexes, and fourplexes. Slowly, over the 10 years he had that portfolio, he transitioned into multifamily in 2019. And since then, he has been investing as limited partner and general partner in over 7 syndications. His strengths are networking, putting the teams together. He does capital raises. He has been boots on the ground on various deals, due diligence, asset management, actively building lasting relationships, working towards syndicating multifamily apartment deals in Texas, in other states. But more importantly, he started his career in, accounting and economics, bachelor's, then programming diploma, and then he was in IT, of course. And correct me if I'm wrong, Vish, you were in Bay Area, as we talked last time, for many years, and then you moved to Austin. That's where you probably started going into real estate. So similar background, so to say, he slowly transitioned from IT career, did some things on the side for number of years, and slowly transitions full-time into real estate. Vish, once again, welcome to our podcast. And the goal of the podcast is to discuss how, we all come from, let's say, India or from other countries, and we work our asses off, pardon my language, we work a lot. For us, investing is only about stocks and bonds, right? I want to motivate our listeners about how they can start investing. If they have time, maybe they can actively invest into single families and stuff like that. But if you have residual income, how can people invest into passive investments and still create generational wealth for themselves? Please share your thoughts on that, Vish, with our listeners.
Well, thank you, Prashant, and I really appreciate everyone gives me the same introduction and welcome as what you did. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Right, that was pretty impressive. I'm impressed. I was about to ask you, whose profile is that?
It was your profile.
Well, thank you for that once again. Yes, Prashant. Yeah, I'm very much with you. It is not an easy journey for anybody when once they leave their comfort level, that is the comfort of their house, wherever they're born, whichever part of the world. And once you leave that comfort, then you're on your own. It's like going hunting. Once you get into the wilderness, you are at the mercy of somebody else. Either you eat or you be eaten. That is what you'll have to do in whatever we are doing. Like what you were talking about, we all knew only one area, that is, you study hard, you work hard, and you invest in stocks and bonds. That is exactly what happens.
Yeah.
And yes, yeah, I was in Silicon Valley for 7 years. I was in programming and I was in technology. I was a Salesforce administrator. But if you have that entrepreneurial bug in you, it is very unlikely that you're a good W-2 employee. So you don't get along very well. You don't like taking orders. You don't like somebody questioning you all the time. So I had that problem with me, to be honest. So that is why I became an entrepreneur by setting up my own consulting firm. I had that for about more than 15 years. And during that, I did a small little businesses at the fitness center. I had a vending machine. And then I'm always of the mindset that you need to outsource. I call it a MWA, minimum wage activities.
Yeah.
And IGA, you focus on income generating activities only. Okay, so some of these businesses, I realized they were all MWA, minimum wage activities. And if my goal is to make 100K a year, just an example as a passive income, and you take on an average 2,000 hours, working hours, which means I shouldn't do anything which is below $50 an hour.
Right.
So anything I decide here now, I'm trying to outsource a lot of things in what I'm doing. So that is what got me to get into real estate. That is first step. And once we got into real estate, and me and my wife, both of us were looking at properties every weekend, even when we are in Silicon Valley. And the weekends, all we did was we used to go out, eat, look at real estate, and go to Barnes and Noble. And then there was Borders, something called Borders. A lot of people may not know. So all we did was we spent time in the library, look at real estate, and eat and come back. So even though we were not actively buying, but we kept looking at properties, and there's an idea which my wife came across. She told we should start a company called the Duplexaholics. And what was the objective of it is basically buy one duplex a year for 10 years. And we still have that company. We came to Texas, we started that company, and I started with investing in single family homes, duplexes, and we had a portfolio of fourplexes also. So that is how I got into real estate. So
That's very, very interesting journey.
Right.
But I mean, I'm assuming that you were doing all that while you were still working on your W-2 job.
Yeah. Yes, I was still W-2, and I also had my consulting business. And in the meanwhile, I was always exploring little entrepreneurial things like putting up a vending machine at a fitness center, because I realized this fitness center on any given time in the morning between 6 and 10, there are at least about 400 people who walk through the doors and walk out. And not everybody are carrying a water. Everybody wants to buy water. So that was the best ROI you can get. You can get for $5, you can get 60 bottles, and you can sell each bottle for $1.
Right.
Okay. And people will buy because it's a convenience thing. But I didn't want to do that because that was a minimum wage activity. I had to go pick up the water bottles and put it in the vending machine. If they're broken, I need to fix it. I need to take that money, go to the bank, deposit. So that was a minimum wage activity. I mean, nothing against that. That is still an income. That is still really good for someone who likes doing that.
Right. So my question to you, looking back, Vish, what would you have? So my audiences are typical, husband and wife working in Silicon Valley. They are probably getting paid approximately $150,000 each. There's some residual income which they have. They're saving at least $50,000 to $100,000 a year, right? So for them, they cannot quit their job because it is difficult to replace that kind of income. To begin with, what would be your message to them? How would you educate them? What should they do? How can they invest passively, uh, and still do their job, and continue to invest into some businesses somewhere, and still earn significant return on their money? What would be a message to them?
So that's a very good question, Prashant. Thank you for that. So how I look at my life is everybody has a lifestyle, everybody has a dream, and everybody has a vision. So one is people need to get clear about that, because I basically live with 5 goals I have in my life. Number one, you need to have a purpose in life. So every morning we all of us get up, and what is it that gets us out of bed? Not all the time we are happy, not all the time we are sad. Some days are good, some days are bad, but there is still a strong urge for us to get up and keep moving. What is it? Number one, people need to identify. I mean, I need to get up to take care of my sick parents, my wife, my daughter, or my some special needs children, or anything. So one needs to have a strong purpose in life. Okay. And then one needs to work on relationships. They are extremely critical in whatever you do. You need to have a good relationship with your spouse, with your child, with your neighbor, with your father, with your banker, anybody you name it, everywhere. So one needs to focus on that. So these two are extremely critical no matter what business you do. Even if you don't do any business, you still need to have these two.
Yeah.
If you don't have these two, rest everything is irrelevant. Even if you could have $1 million, but if you don't have a relationship, it's of no use. If you don't have a purpose, you're depressed, nothing to look forward for. Okay, so I value those two every day, and I'm thankful for everything, whatever has happened to me. Yeah. So the reason why I brought that up is people are working 24/7. From financial point of view, they're happy. They're making a lot of money. But why do we need money? Right? So that is why it comes down to your purpose. You could be promoting a non-profit organization. You need money to start that. That brings more happiness, because money alone is of no use. If you do it, what you get with that money is what is happiness. Because if I have money in the bank, which means I don't need to be stressed out, because I can spend that extra 2 hours with my daughter. I can sleep for 1 hour extra. I don't need to worry. So this is the benefits. I can go to my doctor's appointment on time without being late. Okay. Yeah. These are the little things which we need to look at it. Yeah. And anyone with the W-2, as long as they're working, they're getting paid. They can't take a break. It's like cycling or swimming. You're very happy, you're comfortable, you're covering distance as long as you're swimming, as long as you're cycling. But you can't sit on the seat and relax. So that is when the passive income comes into picture. Okay. So and the benefits, the value what it brings is extremely important. And my recommendation would be to people start building up their passive income as soon as possible. So that way they don't need to be stressed out for not spending that time with their family, not being there for the children's education or basketball game, because these are the life-changing events. We miss all these things because we are so focused on making money. So we can't afford to miss all these things, because these events happen once in a lifetime. So I'm all about lifestyle. You need to have a balance.
Awesome. Vish, very, very clear way of answering the question, in which you said what is the purpose of your life, and what are kind of relationships you have. Right. And over a period of time, you realize that if you just continue to make money, not utilizing your relationships, without having purpose in life, you will just continue to make money. But what I heard you saying is, if you start creating passive income early enough in your life, there would be a time when in your life when you don't have to worry about your W-2 income, you would be easy in your attitude
Right.
and still enjoy your life because you have created so much passive income,
Yes.
uh, passive income streams for you to have a purpose and enjoy and have purpose of life and start enjoying your life
Right.
in a meaningful way.
Yeah. How I look at ourselves is like, even if you buy the most expensive car, a Ferrari, or even that car also is going to break down sooner or later, because
Yes.
we are like automobiles. I mean, you can't say I'm strong and I keep working for the next 60 years.
Yeah.
And your system also is going to break down. You need a break. We all need a break. But why do we need a break? We want to have a more meaningful life, because that is why the relationships is extremely crucial in whatever you do. Because you've seen there are you me and most of the audience know there are so many wealthy people are not happy mentally and not happy because there's no purpose.
Absolutely.
Right.
You hit the nail right on the head.
Right.
Money doesn't buy you the happiness.
Right.
Money
What it
is
can do and the choices it gives you is what brings you more happiness.
That is correct, and that's why I think the message is clear that you have kind of communicated that start early in your lifetime, start generating passive income early in your lifetime, so that you start reaping the benefit, compounded
Right.
benefit when you grow older, right?
Right.
I mean, if you start at a later stage, it will take so much more time, which
Right.
obviously, I didn't do until I was 40-year-old. But I mean, better late than never. I mean, I would assume.
Well, it's like I tell people everybody's journey is different,
Yeah.
and everybody's timelines are different. I mean, if you look at, there are some presidents who retired at 50, someone became a president at 70, because everybody's journey is different. The travel time is different, and everybody's schedules are different. So my objective is to at least get started no matter what.
Yeah.
So that is my recommendation. So
Awesome. And at some point, once you are in a passive investment stage, you become more apt. You start when you have more passive income coming at that time, you have the choice to become an active investor also,
right.
which obviously you did and I did. That when you have more residual income, then and you are able to sustain yourself with your passive income streams that you have created,
Right.
you are able to quit and jump into the real estate on a more active and take a more active role in the real estate.
Right. Yeah, that's right, Prashant. So what I basically do is I educate people. That is what I like to do, because I believe in paying it forward. Because education is good, but if I don't share it with somebody, if it's not going to make an impact, it is of no use. I mean, that has to be spread, and more people need to be educated. And there is enough and more business and wealth for everybody in the world. So I don't lose anything by teaching somebody or educating somebody on how this deal is done. Because to be honest, there are a lot of people out there wanting to have another stream of income. They're taking a step back because they don't have the right mentor. They don't know whom to trust in the first place.
Right.
And my responsibility is to encourage or educate people with what I know and what has been my experience, a good or bad experience. And I educate them as to the point. I tell them, once you're educated enough, you are confident enough to decide what to look for. And once they get to that point, I inspire them and motivate them to take action. That is up to them, because my job is to at least teach them driving. If they want to drive or not, that is their choice.
That is
Right.
their choice. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting very interesting talk, Vish.
Right.
Tell us a little bit more about any bad experience you have had, or any good experience for that matter, in real estate. Share some
Well,
lights.
the bad experience is in 2009 when we started in real estate, me and my wife. And it's like we all tend to get possessive about certain things, and we want things to go a certain way. And I always believed in being an investor, not a landlord. So when we bought our first duplex, and this was in Austin, Texas, in 2010, there was a bad storm, and there was a lot of trees which had fallen on the property. And the property manager, I kept following up with the property manager. Hey, you got to clean this. You got to clean this. And this experience, I can never forget what really happened the following days. I went there, took pictures, and then I was in constant touch with the property manager. The property manager kept telling me, I'm working on it. I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to it. So I sent him pictures and then followed up by, I had to take pictures in a regular camera. And right now you have, your phone has everything, right? But those days I had to take a camera, take pictures, and then upload it onto the computer and send it by email. So, and then this guy, I asked him again, hey, what's going on? Are you going to be cleaning it today? So I can really feel that right now as if it's happening, because these are the words he used. He told, I'm not interested in your this one, in your project anymore. And he fired me.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
Other
the property manager told, I'm not interested in your business. I'm firing you as a
landlord, yeah.
yeah. So, and I'm new to this field, and I think I was impatient, and that was a big lesson learned. And overnight I had to be a property manager, and so he gave all my details to the tenants. He told, this is the guy who owns this property. This is his phone number. Talk to him directly. So they kept calling me for, so I had to, that fire was thrown at me, and I had to now mitigate that, bring that situation under control. So that was a bad experience.
Right.
And you learn everything as you go along through the bad experiences. So
you end up learning a lot.
You end up learning a lot.
Yeah.
So
and that gives you the confidence for future,
right,
that you can do that yourself.
right.
You are much more confident in your.
Yeah, I can do it myself as one, and then I learn how to deal with different types of people in the real estate industry. So that was a bad experience. But with that experience came a lot of things. Buying that duplex, and that was the first time we were buying a property in an LLC. So I didn't realize. I thought it was fairly easy. So I had to go to almost 15 to 16 banks asking them for money. So, but what really happened, the best part is, and the relationships, what I built and what I learned by approaching all these banks and asking for money, I became a lot more educated in terms of asking them how to ask them for money. What is it they need? So that is something which the lesson is embedded in me now. And now I know what exactly they look for when I'm going to ask for money. So I'm prepared. It's like having a template. So now I know the 15 things or 20 things what they're going to ask. So I just send it to them and then ask for money.
Yes.
And then that relationships, what I built, I still work with 4 banks right now after 15 years.
Wow.
So that is only because I took that effort in going there, knocking on doors and talking to them, and they rejected me. But that is okay. Rejection is a part of life, and that I didn't take it as a rejection. It's more of a learning experience.
So what you are really telling me is that you started as a passive investor in one duplex, but you ended up, managing it and learned a lot from the experience. And
Right.
slowly you were able to build your relationship with those banks, and you knew how to approach and get the funding from these banks.
Right.
So that was a big learning over a period of time, and you were able to create multiple stream of income for yourself.
Yes. Yeah. So that is a learning, because, and then after 10 years, I realized the single family was good, but I get impatient with doing the same things for too long. So I need to do something different and some new challenges.
Uh-huh.
And I discovered I want to do something because all the brokers were showing me apartment in deals.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I didn't know what to do. I didn't even know how to look at the numbers. And even if I go stand outside that apartment, I don't know what to look for. It's not one door, it is
Yeah.
100 doors.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had to get myself educated, and that is where it all started in 2018. I started getting myself educated, and then uh, started networking and started having a mentoring group. And that is how I transitioned into multifamily.
Okay. That's awesome. I mean, uh, looking back, 2018, yes, you started in multifamily. Today is 2022. 4 years into multifamily. Looking back, what is something that do you feel that you could have done something differently
Well,
right from the get-go?
well, yes and no. Okay, because like most of us, we are not born with having mentors in our life, and most of the time, it's like learning how to cycle. You have two ways. You have a training wheels.
Yeah.
That is one way of learning how to cycle. So training wheels like having a mentor from the day one,
Yeah.
and someone will mentor you to make sure you don't fall down, you don't make mistakes.
Yeah.
That is training wheels.
Yeah.
And another one is you should just go try to learn without training wheels. That is what I did. So the 10 years I made a lot of mistakes. And when I decided to move into multifamily, I didn't want to get into multifamily without training wheels. So I went and got a mentor. So if I wanted to do something different, I would tell people to get educated first.
Yeah.
And associate themselves with a mentor, and uh, take part and belong to a mastermind groups. So that way, there is somebody else who made the same mistake. You don't need to make that mistake. And there's
I think that's a very valid point, and that is the important thing that we want to communicate to our investors is if you are jumping actively into real estate, then make sure you have a mentor who could guide you so that you do not make mistakes which you would make without having those training wheels,
right,
right?
exactly. And then yeah, even if you're investing, my recommendation to everybody is associations. That is why proximity is power. If they know you already done the business, so you are the best teacher to tell them, listen, this is the good way to do it, this is the bad way to do it. Okay, so they need to talk to you, because even if you're not able to do it, you have access to another 40 people who have done it. So proximity is power. You have access to them. So they need to take the initiative to talk to you in the first place. And my recommendation to everybody is to start as a passive investing and build trust, build confidence, get to know how the business works. And once you learn how to drive, and then you can go fast, but don't go 100 miles an hour on day one. You're going to crash, and you say driving is bad for everybody. So, and the same goes with investing. You can start small. People say think big, that is fine. But you need to know what you're going to be thinking and where you're going to be jumping off.
Yeah. No, very good. Golden nuggets, Vish.
Right.
These are important things. I think you have shared a lot in this half an hour with our listeners. And these are the things which we want to tell our listeners. It's not that, you are going to make 20% return on your money and blah, blah, blah. That all we tell every day, right? I mean,
right.
There are a lot of videos, a lot of podcasts, which talks about benefits of passive investing. Here we are giving them a realistic approach towards investing, right? You start passively and slowly get into, if you want to get into in active role, having a mentor along your side.
Right. I mean, there are so many mentors, like they can come to you, talk to you, or talk to me, or contact one of your podcast guests we are happy to share our journey experiences because we don't want someone else to make the same mistake, because not everybody will be able to recover from those mistakes. So that could be the only big mistake which will take them down, and they will lose confidence in the whole investing process itself. So we don't want that to happen. I mean, the objective is everybody wants that passive, we want them to make passive income. We want them to win.
Yeah.
So
very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Vish, how can our listeners reach out to you? What you want to share your information?
Well, the easiest would be to Google my name. I mean, look up my name on LinkedIn. That will be the best way to reach, because because there are too many emails coming in and I might miss out on that. Yeah. So LinkedIn would be the best way to reach me.
Vishmuni, Vish Muni.
Yeah, look for Vishmuni. That's it.
Awesome. Vish, again, thank you so much. We try to limit our time for listeners, 30 minutes, so that listeners get the maximum benefit in this time frame. And as I said, you have shared a lot of golden nuggets for our investors. I'm pretty sure they would love it. So thank you so much, Vish. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. As usual, you can reach me via my website, www.myrealtygains.com, and via email, prashant@myrealtygains.com. I would love to hear from you and talk to you about specific needs you may have. Please schedule an appointment with me via my website, again, www.myrealtygains.com. Stay tuned for next podcast. This is Prashant Kumar signing off for today.